Okay. Good evening. This is Carol, Kilo Papa for Mike Delta, um, your net control operator for the River City Arc Slow Scan TV Net. This net serves for training and practice in image transmission modes and meets Wednesday nights at 9 p.m. Pacific Time on the N6NA repeater on 441.30 megahertz in Sacramento. River City Arcs members and all licensed radio amateurs are welcome to participate. If you wish to join the net or need to make a call at any time, please announce your call sign between transmissions and net control will acknowledge you. If an emergency should arise and you need the repeater, please contact the net control by saying break break. A double break signifies emergency traffic. The net will stand by for you until the emergency is terminated or the traffic is moved to another frequency. Stations who wish to check in are asked to respond with their full call sign using the recognized ITU phonetic alphabet and their name. I would like to recognize each station before I continue. We have already some early check-ins. We have Neil, KL7 Hotel, Quebec Romeo in Antelope, and we also have Alpha India 6 Delta Golf, Joel in Florin. Are there any additional check-ins for the slow scan net?
Hi, Carol. It's Wilson, N6EMF, Rancho Cordova. Can you hear me?
Yes, Wilson, November 6, Echo Mike Foxtrot. Very good. We have you checked in as number 3. Thank you.
Carol, I apologize. I wanted to let you know that I'm available to help run the net tonight if you like. I can take over from here unless you want to continue.
Yeah, okay, Wilson, actually, I would appreciate that, but let's just stand by and see if there are additional check-ins.
Standing by, N6EMF. Thanks, Carol.
Okay, yeah, I don't hear anyone else. So as of now, we have KL7HQR, AI6DG, yourself, and I'm number 4, KP4 Mike Delta. So why don't you go ahead with it, Wilson. This is KP4 Mike Delta.
All right, thank you. Let me just acknowledge the stations. Hi, Neil, KL7HQR, and Joel, AI6DG, Carol, KP4MD, and this is Wilson, N6EMF. So what I'll do is, since I have a picture this evening, I'll go ahead and kick off one, and I'll limit my transmission to just one, and then I'll turn it over to the rest of the group. 1 second. All right, this is Wilson, N6EMF here. I just transmitted a photo in Martin 1. I guess I should have told everyone that. But what this is a photograph of the hole that I just cut in my floor about a week ago. So this hole represents progress for me in my hobby. And all summer long I had my feed lines for my radio system coming through the window seal, and that was unsatisfactory. So I finally took the plunge, got myself a 1 1/4 inch hole saw, and cut this hole in the floor in the corner of my ham shack, which is in my living room, at least for the foreseeable future. So anyway, this is represents progress, and there's a hole in the floor, and that's not fully complete, but I've got 3 coaxes coming through there now, and there's that, N6EMF. Let's see. So let me go over to Neil. Neil, if you're there, KL7XQR, did you have any comments or questions? But I've got 3 coaxes coming through there now. There's that. Let me consult with Carl, KP4MD. Did you hear what happened there?
Yeah, this is KP4MD. I think somebody's listening to you on the YouTube. There is I think there's a 20 to 30-second delay on the voice coming over the YouTube. So if you have that playing in the background, don't be on the air while the YouTube is playing, because you'll just hear everything delayed. Yeah, I got your picture. I recognized immediately you look like a floor in a corner there with a hole and some cable going down into there. I hope you don't plan to leave it that way. I guess they do have some kind of bushings or something you can put into those holes to kind of seal the air so that you don't have a draft going through there or have critters coming up through the hole there. But your audio level on that transmission, the tone level was a little bit light. But you can see on YouTube that the picture came through okay, except that there were a lot of these pixel pops because of the lower modulation. But the signal strength is fine. It's not that you need more signal strength, but the audio level was just a little low. So back to net controls, KP4 Mike Delta.
All right, thanks for the feedback, Carl. And so N6EMF here. I'll appreciate the comments. I'll just turn it over to Neil, KL7XQR, and I may have a follow-up comment at the end.
Yeah, the audio level was just a little low. To net controls, KP4 Mike Delta.
I had to turn off my signal link. It just keeps on triggering the transmit for some reason. It was okay before. I'll give it a try here. Let's see if I can send something. By the way, I copy your picture very well, no problem whatsoever. And same comments as Carol. I never had a hole in my floor, but I had a hole in the ceiling. So. Do you have a XYL to approve that?
XYLs approves the hole in the floor. It doesn't look like that now, and I apologize. I didn't state that this is an unfinished product, but I do have some insulating material serving as a grommet for the floor, and it's all sealed up now. But I appreciate the advice, and this is a much better solution than having it come through the window. And I have a way to put this floor back together. I've got a system for reinstalling the plug that I cut out. So anyway, it'll work out in the long term. Go ahead, Neil.
Roger. I don't know. I have to. Every time I turn my signal link on, it kind of clicks on transmit, and I'm afraid I may be interfering with you guys there. Let me see if I can do anything here. Hang on a minute.
Go ahead, Neil.
Roger, Roger. I don't know. I had to. Every time I find myself on this pond, I kind of click on transfer. And I'm afraid I may be with the guys there. If I don't do anything, go ahead, Neil. Roger, Roger.
Well, N6EMF here, it's Wilson. And Neil, I saw your photograph. I received your photograph here. It said KL7HQR on the receipt, and then I saw a structure like a rectangular lengthwise building with an antenna structure there, but unfortunately something happened and it caused the photograph to retransmit and it wiped out the record that I had of the original photograph. So that's my perspective. But otherwise it looked like a pretty good picture. And what I'll do now is, since we missed Joel on the last go-around, let's give Joel a chance to describe what he saw. Go ahead, AI6DG.
Well, I'm not sure what happened there because I thought we were in the middle of a conversation and hadn't gotten the request to send the next picture yet. Yet another picture appeared, and in fact, I think I heard people talking on top of the picture. So I did get the picture. It's like in an apartment building. You can go back to the history tab, and let's see, if you go to history, if you go to the history tab, it should show the last photo. And you can also go up to, where was this? Where do you bring up? There's a way to bring up a thumbnail window of photos that have been received and that are in the history. Anyway, looks like an apartment building. I see a ham antenna, power lines going over to it, snow. Oh, this must be is this in California or is this in Alaska? Anyway, and there's some sort of interference across a good part of the right side. I don't know if this is acoustically coupled or something else was going on. It's pretty good for acoustically coupled image if that's what was going on. Back to net AI6DG.
All right, very good, Joel. AI6DG, it's N6EMF. I will tell you that's pretty much what I saw, and I was able to retrieve the photograph in the history tab, so thanks for bringing that. I noticed earlier, and it's not happening now, but it seemed like the audio on this channel here was being buffered, and it was being reeled back to us. The last 10 minutes, 10 seconds, or maybe 5 seconds of audio was being replayed somehow. So anyway, I will turn it over to Carol, KP4MD, for maybe her perspective on KL7HQR's photo.
Okay, thank you very much. N6EMF in the group. This is Kilo Papa 4 Mike Delta. Yeah, I got the same picture here by clicking on the history tab. And I don't know if this is what was happening over there with Neil, but Neil, I think that Neil was had a computer with the YouTube audio playing, and if you do that, you'll get like a delay. I don't know, about 10, 15 seconds of the audio that's being streamed. I mean, that's coming over the repeater. You'll just get it in delay over the YouTube. So if you look carefully at that image, you get like a ghost of another frame, and it starts just with over the KL7HQR letters. Right, it's shifted to the right and down a little bit, and I believe that that's a delayed image tones of this picture that was being sent. It was a very interesting um, effect. I'd never seen this sort of thing before, but I have a suspicion that's what was happening. That Neil had a live microphone while he was sending the picture, and the live microphone was picking up the YouTube audio. That's my guess. So back over to you, Wilson. N6EMF. This is KP4MD.
Very, very good, Carl. Thank you. So I'd like to maybe turn it back over to Neil, KL7HQR, N6EMF here. Go ahead with a explanation of the picture. Thank you.
Roger. Well, first of all, I do have the laptop tracking the YouTube, but I checked the setup on transmit/miscellaneous, and it is going to USB audio codec, and also the input and output are correct. But as I said, I'm having a problem turning it on and off here manually, the link. But I will turn off the computer YouTube in the future and see if that changes it. As to the picture, it's a complement of the picture that I sent to you guys a couple weeks ago about my station in Alaska. Doing further check, I found this picture, which is the outside of my station in Alaska. So this is circa 1970, mid-70s, 75 or so. And those are the barracks that I lived in at, well, not the barracks, but the base housing that I lived in Anchorage, inside the Elmendorf Air Force Base. That is a tower made out of three 20-foot sections, and they were just clamped together. And at the top is my tri-bender, 10, 15, 20 gem quad, which is was made in Canada, and just wires, and they survived very, very well all the severe weather that we had for the years that I was there. But that was the output department of the station that you guys saw the other day. So that's about it. KL7HQR, back to that.
All right, very good description, Neil. Thank you. So let me make the round again. I'll check with Carol. Carol, did you have any comments or other comments based on Neil's description of his photo?
No, negative. I actually have seen this picture once before, and thank you very much for sending it. It came through actually quite well, except for that a little bit of interference from a kind of like a time delayed of that audio that was coming through superimposed, and I think that's what started the second part of a picture and wiped this one into the history. It was still transmitting the delay there. So back to net control. This is KP4 Mike Delta.
All right, thanks for that. That's going back some time there, Neil. So I wonder. So my question for you is how many people were living in there? And is that a 2-story building, if I'm not mistaken, or is there a basement there or something?
Yeah, each building had 4 units, and each unit was 3-bedroom, 2-story, plus a basement. And the picture that you saw the other night of the station that I was putting together was in the basement. So I had just gotten married in 1974 and went up there and spent 75 and 76 there with a wife and a young son. So long time ago.
Very good. Thanks for the follow-up. How about Joel? Joel, give you a chance to express any comments or any questions about that photo at this point?
Well, now I understand why there was the second portion of a photo. I mean, because if there was an echo replay, that's perfect. Makes perfect sense. That's a perfect explanation. But it's I don't think it's, and what's causing that would be something somewhere in the Windows settings, I believe, not within SSTV. And that also implies a Vox activation within the signal link for the transmission. So I'm trying to think what would cause that. Yeah, you need to go to, let's see here, option, sound card input level would bring up the sound settings, and from there you can look at both the playback and recording devices, and just go through the different tabs for the ones you're using. Back to net, AI6TG.
All right, very good. AI6DG, N6EMF here. So what I'll do is go on down the list. Let's see, we've done one from N6EMF. KL7HQR just had his transmission. How about if I turn it over to you, Joel, AI6DG, for a picture? Are you ready?
I am. Have you heard a tone at a good level?
I did. I heard a very strong tone, so go ahead and transmit your picture when you're ready. All right. Well, let's see. I'll start at the top of the list. I guess I call myself the top N6 EMF here. We'll say that I received the picture. I was able to copy the picture. Nice full color spectrum. I see what appears to be maybe two circuit boards that are on maybe different planes or different parts of a aluminum enclosure, and I see the printed circuit boards are actually blue in color, and I see what I think are numerous capacitors and possibly toroid coils that are mounted to the board, a few chips here and there maybe, some wire jumpers going to and fro across the board, possibly some white relays somewhere towards the top of the photograph, and I really can't discern the overall function of this, but if I had to guess, I would say that it's possibly an antenna tuner. I don't know. Let's see what others might have to say. Let's turn it over to Neil, KL7HQR.
Yes, KL7HQR. Very, very good copy of the picture here. I cannot read what's stamped on the blue board on the bottom there in the center, but almost, very clear. Good enough that we see all the details of the wires. I wouldn't guess, try a guess on what it is. I do see a ribbon cable there that I haven't seen in a long time, but very, very good quality picture. Back to Net.
Very good, Neil. Thank you. How about AI6? Well, let me go to Carol, KP4MD. Go ahead, Carol. What's your perspective on the photo? Thank you.
Okay, yeah, this is KP4MD. I think I've seen this picture before, but in any case, I can read some of the printing on the printed circuit board down at the very bottom of the picture. It's upside down from our perspective, but it's really fuzzy. I could read Hard Rock 50, FCC something ID, I guess. And the next line I can read, it says power amplifier. And the rest of that printing is too fuzzy. But I would hazard a guess that this is the Hard Rock 50 HF amplifier that Joel built. So back to net control.
Very good, Carol. Thank you. N6 EMF. Yeah, that's. I guess it's an amplifier. But go ahead, Neil. Not Neil, but Joel, AI6DG. Please go ahead and explain the picture now.
So this was in PD120. I should have mentioned that at the beginning. I like photos with details, and that means I tend to like the PD modes since they get a little more. Since they go up to the 640, 496. And in this PD120 is, I think, only 17 seconds longer than Martin 1. So, but yes, this is a recycled photo, Carol. So, but the others haven't seen it. And I did the PD120 because I wanted you to see some of the details. A lot of what you saw would have been missed on the lower resolution. It is a Hard Rock 50 amplifier. That is an amplifier that you can buy as a kit and build. And it's only 50 watts, but for a lot of things that's perfect, and it's very small, particularly when you add the fact that it includes or can be built with an antenna tuner included. There's actually a Hard Rock 500 now that I haven't purchased and built yet, but it will be as soon. It doesn't have, the kit's not available with the antenna tuner yet, and as soon as it is, I will be buying it and building it. We're looking the top component is the antenna tuner, and that's actually the bottom of the unit. The white things are relays. You can see the toroids, and somewhere in there's capacitors. They're probably surface mounted. The bottom one is the amplifier itself, and we're looking at and it's all heat sink, although you can't see it because we're looking at the circuit board. But the opposite side of that circuit board is a huge heat sink, and the transmitters are mounted, power transistors mounted in between. The relays on the bottom are orange, and there's actually 3 different circuit boards there on the, well, 4 actually, now that I look more closely. On the right side is the display with a little LCD multi-line display and some buttons and the power switch. On the left, you have the power in, the power out, and control signals, and power. It was a fun kit to build. It was a bit challenging, but not too terribly difficult. All the surface mount components were already mounted, so it was the main difficulty was this physical assembly and then winding the toroids, which is not my favorite thing to do. But it's a good quality, clean with the filters. All those toroids and caps on the bottom are their bandpass filters, and on the top they're antenna tuner. So it's a clean amp compared to some of the cheaper things you can get. Anyway, if there's any questions, let me know. I'll answer them. Back to Net, AI6DG.
Well, I have maybe a couple of quick questions. I'm interested in building kits a little bit more advanced than what I used to, but I'm curious, were you able to build this kit without specialized instruments such as an oscilloscope? Is there a way to build this without a scope, or is that required? N6EMF. Thank you.
There's no tune-up or tuning on this. So the fanciest thing I would say you need is, if you're building things, it's worth spending the $100, $150 to get a good thermostatically controlled soldering iron with multiple tips, because different tips for different jobs. There's nothing fancier than that. No signal generator, no oscilloscope. Main thing to do is to be patient, read the instructions 2 or 3 times before you actually do it, because you've got to do things exactly as it says. You can't skip steps. You got to do exactly what it tells you to.
That's great. I may have some additional follow-up questions for you at another time, but I really appreciate the work that you've done there. It looks like some quality work has gone into it. And I guess maybe one last question: is it operational at this time?
Yes, I actually used it. It was at the Pacificon convention last year down in San Ramon. I went down early and operated in the parking lot the day before, and then the last day after it was over, I went back into the parking and operated. In fact, I actually used this in the hotel room too. I went the first day I couldn't figure out how to activate the antenna tuner, so I was just using it as an amplifier. Once I got into the hotel room that night and read the instructions, I realized what button to push, and it was pretty exciting the first time I activated the antenna tuner, and all the relays started clicking like crazy. It was a bit startling, but very exciting.
That's a great story. Thanks for sharing that, Joel. So what I'll do is I'll kind of open it up. Please check in with me if there's any other questions or comments on Joel's photo on his antenna amp and tuner.
Scale 7 HQR. What bands does it cover?
This is HF, so only 80 through 10. I think it did 6 and 160 also, but I'd have to double check to make sure on that.
Thank you.
All right, very good. Thanks again, Joel. So, Carol, let's see, did Carol send her photo yet, KP4MD?
No, this is KP4MD. No, I haven't sent a picture, so I'll go ahead and do that. I do want to make a comment on one thing that Joel said about not enjoying winding toroids. Um, yeah, I guess when I first started winding toroids, I kind of felt the same way. Uh, just because you're used to having all the components pre-built for you. And I guess some people actually fear winding coils. They have an aversion to that. I guess because they don't trust themselves that they could actually build a component that'll actually work. So I uh, I coined a phrase for those type of people. I guess they suffer a condition called inductophobia. Um, but you can overcome that aversion just by actually winding some toroids and finding that they actually do work. Actually, I found out if you're designing something that requires coils of a specific value, if you wind it yourself, you can actually fine-tune the adjustment of the coil by compressing or expressing the or separating the turns on the toroid, and it really works quite well. So it's awesome. So overcome your inductophobia. Did you want me to go ahead and send my picture now over?
Yes, thanks for the encouraging words, and there's help for the inductophobiacs. So go ahead, Carol. Thank you. N6EMF. Go ahead with your picture.
Okay, QSL, this is going to be PD120. I'm going to join the club here doing PD120. And let's see, there you go, PD120. And then when you do the templates, you have to switch over to a PD120 template for that. Okay, and I'll go ahead and pick a picture that's the right size. And here we go, KP4 Mike Delta. This is PD120.
Well, all right, Carol, KP4MD, N6EMF here. I will say that what I can see is a pretty good photograph with some sky on the horizon in the background, a sort of cloud cover with an unusual antenna arrangement that I simply can't identify. I feel like I've seen one of these before in a textbook or something, but just can't seem to identify it. And then I see Carol, person number 3 out of 4 with a yellow shirt, and it seems like they're standing up, 4 people standing up in front of a kind of a safety rail in front of possibly a dam. It looks like it could be a reservoir in the background or a dam. So anyway, that's what I can see. Overall, the picture came in pretty good. Just a few spreckles throughout the picture, but otherwise a very good photo. And let's see, let me turn it over to KL7HQR for his update or his perspective. Go ahead, Neil.
Yes, KL7HQR. Yeah, Carol, I believe I've been there. And if I am correct, it's the largest in the world. And unfortunately, I just saw in the news that apparently will be disassembled. If that's I won't say where it is, but to give Joe a chance to comment. But will you please confirm? I don't understand why they would do that, but it's a very, very impressive setup. So we'll pass back to Nat, and so that we can hear Joel.
All right, Neil, thank you. That was KL7HQR, and I'll turn it over to Neil, AI6DG. Go ahead, Neil. Joel. My apologies. Correction. This will be Joel giving his update. Thank you.
Hey, everyone. Hey, I just want to point out that in SSTV, if you go to View and select Always Show Thumbnails of History, you get another window that pops up that is a thumbnail of a certain number of the last so many photos that have been decoded. That way you can go back and see what you've received in the past. Another way of doing that is from the History tab. You've got just to the lower right of the image, you've got right and left arrows that can take you back through those also, but then you only see one at a time. And another point is from that History tab on the lower right of the picture, just below it, is a little picture previewer where it opens up a separate window of that image, and you can maximize it or drag it to make it bigger, so that if you want to see a little more detail on the image, you can make it bigger. And now to the image. Yes, I saw this, and it's Arecibo on Puerto Rico, and I guess it's just age, and the cables are so weak. They figure they're so weak that it's too dangerous to repair, or maybe it's too expensive and they just don't want to bother. I'm not sure. It's very sad. I was definitely watching the news on this for the couple of days until the final decision to demo it came out. And it's very sad. It's not the largest. It's the second largest. China has one that's bigger. They just finished it in the last few years. I would hope that if they tear this down, they build something back in its place. But I think that's kind of doubtful, because where's the money going to come from? And that's part of the problem to begin with, is it just hasn't been funded properly. I have to wonder if it hasn't gotten the maintenance it should have that contributed to this happening. Back to Net, AI6DG.
All right, thanks for that, Joel. Well, I guess it's Carol's turn. It'll be an opportunity for Carol to explain the photograph. Thank you, Carol. KP4MD, go ahead. N6EMF here.
Okay, thank you, N6EMF in the group. This is KP4MD. Yeah, this is a picture that we took back in July of 2013 at the Arecibo Observatory, which at that time was still the largest radio telescope in the world. And The people in that photograph left is my husband, Roger, KI6 FYF. Next to him is Angel Vasquez, who is the director of telescope operations there. And he's got a call sign also. It's a KP4. That escapes me right now. But he was very hospitable and accommodating and took us on a tour completely around the dish there. I think it's like 1,000 feet across. It's a tremendous big bowl in the behind us. We're in front of it. What you see suspended from above us is the feed antennas that point down into the dish. And there's two antennas there. One is the pointy one, which is a line feed for 430 megahertz, and the other one is a Gregorian feed, which has a number of reflectors in there, and antennas on a rotating platform. It's quite impressive. The Okay, and the lady to the right of me there is actually my sister who was visiting from New York. So we had a really VIP tour of the facility there. Yeah, what happened? This was in the news just in this past week that there was a major accident there. Uh, Cable snapped and damaged the reflector dish, and that happened a few weeks ago. And the engineers went up there to examine to see how this could be repaired. And when they saw the actual status of the existing cables that are suspending uh, they have cables that suspend that platform up in the air right at the focus of the dish. But then there's also tie-down cables that go down to maintain the height of that platform to within a millimeter. It's so precise. It's incredible. Uh, they found that some of the cables were in such a precarious condition that they decided if they actually do try to replace the cables, it's possible that one of the other cables that has not been worked on would snap, and the whole thing, which weighs many tons, could come down and can actually kill somebody. They felt that the risk to human life was too great to even attempt a repair of this. This telescope, of course, was built back in the 1960s during the time of the space race. So it's over 50 years old, and it was the place where Joe Taylor, K1JT, the writer of the WSJT software, that's where he did his Nobel Prize work at this radio telescope, where he got the evidence that he needed, the data to prove the existence of pulsars. So it's a quite a historical place. They've done a lot of the SETI SETI search for extraterrestrial intelligence was using this dish. A lot of other atmospheric scientists are using it, as well as astronomers over the years. It's got a tremendous history, and it's been featured in a number of Hollywood films as well. Golden Eye, I believe, was one. That was a James Bond film. And also the film Contact featured this telescope, and there may have been one or two other Hollywood films. So it's current. I think you could classify it almost as one of the current wonders of the world because of the just the size of the thing and the dimensions of it, and how much benefit it has been to the advancement of science. So that's it. I've been there several times. This is the place where I did the film documentary that's posted on YouTube, and it's actually gone up to 24,000 views so far since it's been posted. There's been an uptick in viewership, about 1,000% increase in the viewership ever since the news came out that it was going to be decommissioned. So back to Net Control, this is KP4MD.
I think you timed out the transmitter.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah. How long ago did I drop?
10 or 20 seconds.
Okay, yeah, I wasn't saying much more. The only thing I was just saying was that we've had 24,000 views on this the video that I made of it back in 2011 that's posted on YouTube. There is an uptick in the a 1,000% uptick in the viewership after this news came out. So back to Net Controls, KP4MD.
Wow, Carol, thank you for sharing all that. I guess how I'm going to spend my I'm gonna definitely allocate an hour to watch the documentary. So thanks for bringing that to our attention. Can you tell us the title of the vid, please? N6EMF.
Affirmative. It's an insider's tour of the Arecibo Observatory. Over.
Copy. Thank you, N6EMF. So, back real quick, back to Joel. I neglected to express appreciation to Joel for the additional tips that he gave for MMS TV. So thanks, Joel, for giving a quick tutorial on the other features with respect to reviewing the history, the thumbnails, and the other things. But boy, I'm just overwhelmed at everything you had to say about this. I thought that was a dam or a reservoir in the background, and shows how much I puts my ignorance on full display. But when you take the C for net control, you put yourself out there too. But that's great, Carol, and I'll look forward to more information on that. I know there's going to be more comments and questions out there, so I'll just go around the table. Let's just see if Neil has anything to add.
Well, thank you. No. As I said, I've had a chance to, when I was doing audits in Puerto Rico, I had a chance to go there, and it is just as impressive as Carol explained. It's really, really a work of art, let alone science. And Carol, you didn't mention, so I assume that at present there is no intention to replacing it with a new version of it. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's apparently it's going to be definitely dismantled. And I think the reason for that is there was a time that it was, I guess, about a year or so ago, that the funding for this was even in question. That they were thinking that they would just rather fund the very large array radio telescope that's in Albuquerque, New Mexico, which is a much newer technology. It doesn't use a one single large dish. It has actually 27 smaller dishes that are spaced apart, and they do kind of like an interference uh, radiometry type of thing using long baseline among the different antennas to get to simulate a larger uh, reflector. And that has a lot more modern technology. This Arecibo facility, of course, was built back in the 1960s, so that was the big deal back then. But there are certain things that Arecibo could do that the very large array can't do. So it had its niche, and that's the reason why they did fund it. But apparently, this there is no immediate thought that this would ever actually be replaced. And anyway, the way uh, the finances are going right now with the COVID, I think things like this are going to be a very low priority right now. So back to net control.
Okay, very good, Carol. KP4 out there giving an update on the observatory. So that is just incredible. Just incredible. How about AI6DG? Did you have anything to add or to ask at this time? Joel, go ahead.
I really enjoyed the movie Contact and its scenes at Arecibo, but it also has scenes at the other one, the Long Base one, and was it Arizona or New Mexico? Yeah, New Mexico. That scene's there also. So maybe they can do things there, but it's really sad when you see things like this get dismantled. I mean, it's not just the history, but what else could be done in the future. I mean, anything that attacks or lessens the ability of scientific research in the U.S. is, I would question, because those are the types of things that put us where we are. Back to net, AI6DG.
All right, very good, Joel. What we have is 5 minutes to 10, and I think what we should probably plan on doing at this point is wrapping up the net. But before I do so, I wanted to just see what else we have among the group here that we might want to do this evening. Is there anything else we want to discuss? Does anybody have another photograph they just feel like they want to send tonight? I'll leave it up to us to decide our next step as to whether to close the net or discuss anything else. Go ahead.
KL7HQR. Unfortunately, I will have to close here. But before I do, I did not participate on any of our Saturday meetings on last Saturday. Is there any plans for this following Saturday?
Yeah, well, I have it in mind to get something going. In fact, I wanted to do one last Saturday, but I felt like I was communicating a little bit too late, and I could have done one at 3 o'clock last Saturday, but I missed an opportunity. Got working on some other stuff. But if you'd like, I can. Anyway, I'll check back with you later. We might do one this Saturday or possibly the following Saturday, if not Sunday. I don't know what your schedule looks like. So what I'll do now is wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving, and before I'm presumptuous, we'll check with Carol, KP4MD, and then go around to Joel to see if they have anything else to add, and then I'll close the net.
Yeah, okay, this is KP4MD. Just I'm going to ask you, Wilson, please keep me on the email list if you're going to send out a planned activity Saturday or so to do like a SSTV clinic. Whenever you want to do something like that, please include me, and I will make an effort to also to participate. So back to net control. I want to wish everyone a wonderful, happy Thanksgiving tomorrow, and thank you again so much for doing the net tonight here, Wilson. N6EMF, this is KP4MD.
Okay, copy, Carol. Thank you. I will keep you in mind. I keep you on my distribution. The next item is to generally go to digital modes over HF. I think that was going to be our next discussion topic. So I'll send out something shortly, and then we'll figure out how to get back together. Oh, one more thing for Joel. Did you have anything, Joel?
I had a good time. We'll see you either next week or on a Saturday or weekend practice.
All right, well, let me go ahead and close the net, and thank you, everybody, for your comments and questions. I've really had a good time this evening. It's an honor to serve as net control, so thanks for the invitation. And so what I'll do now is I'll say thanks to all who participated in tonight's SSTV Net. We hope to see you again next Wednesday at 9 p.m. The net is officially closed at approximately 10 p.m. Pacific time. This is Wilson, N6EMF, in Rancho Cordova, wishing all of you a good evening and a happy Thanksgiving.